In the eternal city of Rome, where marble arches loomed like sentinels over crumbling ruins and incense still wafted through ancient churches, a grotesque spectacle unfolded that would be etched into the darkest annals of papal history. It was the year 897 A.D., a time when the Holy See was not a sanctuary of divine peace, but a battleground of power-hungry factions, where the tiara of the Pope was passed not through sanctity, but through political intrigue, betrayal, and sometimes necromancy. Pope Formosus had been dead for 9 months. His remains lay in the crypt of St. Peter's Basilica, sealed away in the silent embrace of marble. In life, he had been a man of considerable ambition, a former bishop of Porto, elevated to the papacy in 891 amidst the chaos of competing Roman aristocratic families and foreign kings vying for influence. Formosus had made powerful enemies, among them the Spoletan dynasty, especially Lambert of Spoleto, a boy king with a claim to the imperial throne, and his fierce mother, Queen Agiltrude. After Formosus's death, the papal throne passed rapidly from one hand to another. Boniface VI died mysteriously after just 2 weeks. Then came Pope Stephen VI, a man with no illusions about where true power lay. Under pressure from the Spoletans, Stephen sought to destroy the legacy of his predecessor in a manner so grotesque that it would horrify both his contemporaries and history itself. In January of 897, under Stephen's orders, the body of Pope Formosus was exhumed from its tomb. The once pious pope, now a rotting cadaver, was dressed in his sacred papal vestments and propped up on a throne in the Lateran Basilica. His decaying form was bound so it wouldn't collapse mid-trial. 2 deacons stood beside him, one on each side, not to honor him, but to serve as his defense. They would move the corpse's head in mockery and speak on his behalf, all while Pope Stephen, red-faced and trembling with fury, acted as judge and prosecutor. The grotesque proceedings would come to be known as the Synodus Horrenda, the Cadaver Synod. Before a council of bishops and nobles, Stephen bellowed his accusations. He charged Formosus with violating canon law, for having left his see in Porto to become pope, for coveting the papal office, and for performing sacraments while under interdiction. The irony was bitter. Nearly every pope of that era had risen through similar canonical violations. The corpse, of course, remained silent. At the end of this ghastly charade, Formosus was found guilty. The sentence was swift and cruel. All of his acts as pope were declared null and void. His ordinations of bishops, priests, and deacons were invalidated, plunging the church into administrative chaos. Then came the final humiliation. The corpse was stripped of its sacred vestments, the 3 fingers used for blessing were severed, and the body was dragged through the streets of Rome before being thrown into the Tiber River like refuse. But the river does not keep secrets. Soon Formosus's body was said to have washed ashore and began performing miracles. The people, already appalled by the Cadaver Synod, saw it as divine retribution. Riots erupted in Rome. The same mobs that had once cheered Stephen now turned against him. Within months, he was arrested, imprisoned, and strangled to death in his cell. The church was thrown into chaos. Successive popes scrambled to undo the damage. Pope Theodore II convened a synod that annulled the Cadaver Synod, declaring all of Formosus's acts valid. Later, Pope John IX confirmed the annulment and forbade any future trials of corpses. Still, the scandal left a deep scar. The Cadaver Synod was more than a grotesque spectacle. It was a symptom of an age when the papacy was entangled in political machinations and personal vendettas, when holy offices were defiled by the lust for power. It serves as a chilling reminder of how even the highest institutions can fall prey to madness when ambition trumps sanctity. And so, in the cold halls of memory, the Cadaver Synod lingers, a trial not just of a dead pope, but of the soul of the Church itself.